Buying a house can be super overwhelming, especially if you've never done it before. There are certain questions that I get asked all the time. So today on the Lindsey Johnson Show, I have decided to compile them in a nice, neat list so that you can have your questions answered. Number 1, can I afford a house? A lot of people have the misconception that homeownership is just way too far off, but that may not be true. People, when they come to me about buying a house, the first thing that I have them do is talk to a lender. That is, if you're seeking financing for a loan. If you're paying cash, you know how much cash you have. But talk to a lender because they can tell you how much you're approved for. And statistics are showing that you can probably get approved for more than you think. A conversation with a good local lender is the best place to start. Talk to them about your finances, your debt, your job history, and be super honest so that they can give you the best response. If you find that you're approved and ready to go, you can start house shopping. If maybe you got to get your ducks in a row, lenders are a great resource to let you know what you need to do over the next 6 months to maybe a year or two. Number 2, what's the down payment? A common misconception is that you have to have 20% saved up in cash to be able to buy a house. While that can be a great thing to do because your mortgage will be far lower, if you're not there yet, there's ways to work around that. There are so many loan programs that are available for 10%, 5%, even 3.5% down. So don't allow your misconceptions to stop you from your dreams of home ownership because you might be ready to go sooner than you think. Number 3, how do I know where to look? Phenomenal question that I get asked all the time. Where do I go? There's a number of resources that you can use when you're ready to start looking for a home. And the first one is your Realtor. Realtors have access to the Multiple Listing Service, MLS, and are usually the first to know when a property hits the market. Now, because of the internet and a lot of other property websites, you usually know just a few minutes later. But the other reason you need to lean on your agent is because sometimes they know of upcoming properties before anybody else does. So it's a really good idea to set up a strategy between you and your agent of various websites you're going to use and how they're going to try to find you a house that might be an off-market property. And just remember, your realtor has access to every home in your area. So just because their sign's not in the yard doesn't mean they can't help you buy it. Number 4, how long does it take to buy a house? That answer can vary depending upon how long it takes you to find the right house. I've had some buyers who find a house on their first day. I've had some buyers who take 2 or 3 months to find the right house. So that question can be a little bit hard to answer, but once you go under contract, you can usually expect to close on your house within 30 to 45 days, depending upon your type of financing and what the seller needs. Number 5, can I go to an open house? Absolutely you can. If you happen to be looking at properties with your agent and an open house pops up, you and your agent can go together and they can take you on a tour. If maybe you're driving to the grocery store and just happen to see a sign, you can absolutely go and visit the open house. Just be sure to tell the agent there that you are working with another realtor and let your realtor know that you stopped by so that they can ask any questions of the agent that you might need to know. And it's okay to tell the agent that you're working with another realtor. We would much rather know that you've got somebody in your corner than trying to follow up with you and getting ghosted for 2 weeks. Number 6, what about HOAs? HOAs, or homeowner associations, are a neighborhood network of people who have certain rules and regulations for the area. Not all neighborhoods have HOAs, and there are pros and cons to them. Some people do not like HOAs because they don't want to be told what they can and cannot do with their house. But on the other hand, it also means that your neighbor can't go crazy either. HOAs can vary. Some of them are $50 a year because all they're in charge of doing is cutting the grass around the mailboxes. Others can be several $100s a month if there's a lot of amenities like pool and tennis courts, or maybe they even take care of your front yard maintenance. Just make sure you communicate with your agent about what your budget is for an HOA, because $50 a year versus $500 a month can definitely change what your monthly plan looks like. Number 7, how much do I pay you as a realtor? When you're a buyer, that question's pretty easy to answer. Most of the time, you're not going to have to pay me $1. More often than not, it's the seller who is paying the realtor commission, both for the listing agent and the buyer's agent. So technically, you don't have to pay me anything. But it's really nice to be loyal because I don't make a dime until the house closes. If I spend 6 months driving you around town and providing you a great service, and at the end of the day, you go to an open house and don't use me as your realtor, all I have left is a gas bill and a broken heart. Number 8, how do I get a loan? I'm so glad you asked this question because this decision is going to determine the flow of this transaction. And it starts with a good local lender. I have all kinds of horror stories I can tell you about lenders who totally blew up deals because they didn't do a good job. The loan process is really pretty straightforward. Get in touch with a local lender, or 2 or 3, because it's always good to compare rates and shop around. And be really super honest. Tell them all about your financial history because they're going to find out anyway. So if you lie now, you run the risk of it messing up your closing later. The pre-approval process is pretty quick. You're going to have a phone call with a lender. They're probably going to send you an online application. And once you fill that in, you'll give them permission to pull your credit where they can verify all the information. And then it's going to give you a number. It's going to tell you how much you're approved for, what type of loan, what your down payment is. And in the beginning, you want to get all that situated so that when you're shopping for houses and you find the right one, you are ready to go. And once you go under contract on a house, you're going to start working very closely with the lender, getting them all the documentation and everything that they need to make sure that your loan can be approved and funded at the end of the day. And if you're looking for more details about that, check out my video all about the loan process. Number 9, who should I use for my loan? I will harp on this until the cows come home. Good local lender. A local lender. If you don't know one, ask your realtor because they know several. They also know the ones that you shouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. Today's market is so competitive that you've got to have a really good lender on your side because if you're going up against multiple offers and they've never heard of your lender or that lender has a bad reputation, kiss that house goodbye. Number 10, what if I need to quit my job? Don't even think about it. If you are trying to buy a house, you've got to stay in your job until the house closes. Even if you quit the day before, the bank's going to check to verify your employment and you're going to be in trouble. So if things are going poorly and you just can't take it anymore, suck it up and hang on because if you want keys, you've got to be gainfully employed all the way through the process. You can quit the next day, but not before. And bonus round. Can I still call you with questions? Absolutely. That is why I'm here. Even though we're going to go through what the process looks like and I'm going to keep you informed throughout the transaction, if a question pops up, I should be the first person that you call or text because I'm here, I'm your resource, and I do this every day, so let me help you. So these are the top questions that I get from buyers all the time when they're looking to buy a home. I hope these have proved to be helpful, and I hope that you can lean on this as you go through what sometimes can be a pretty overwhelming experience. If you have any questions yourself, please be sure to leave them down in the comments because I'm happy to answer them. If you found value in this, be sure to like and subscribe and click on the notification bell because if you're a buyer, I've got a great new video coming out about why you should say yes to being a backup. I'm Lindsey Johnson, your resource for all things real estate. See you next time.